All right, are you ready for this? We're diving headfirst into a true enigma this time. Yeah, we're talking about the Voynich Manuscript. It makes, like, a Rubik's Cube look easy.
You know what's really wild about the Voynich Manuscript? It's not just a language thing. It's like this whole crazy mix of weird plant pictures, diagrams that look like they're straight out of some alchemist's lab. Oh, and yeah, got to mention those bathing ladies.
It's like history's biggest unsolved mystery box or something. But before we get lost in all the code breaking and medieval bath time stuff, let's get everyone up to speed. What is the Voynich Manuscript, really?
Okay, so picture book, right, but like a really, really old one. Handwritten, we call it a codex. This one's from the early 1400s. Now, here's the catch. The writing in this book is totally unique. Like, it's not any language anyone's ever seen, not any code we've cracked. That's the Voynich Manuscript, a book full of secrets no one can read.
We're talking way before Gutenberg and his printing press, right? This handwritten book's been passed around more than well, it's been everywhere. Emperors, alchemists, even the Jesuits had it for a while. Now it's chilling at Yale University.
It's true. It's got quite the travel resume. One stop that always gets me is when it was with Emperor Rudolph II, the guy obsessed with alchemy and the occult. He was convinced it was written by Roger Bacon.
Wait, Roger Bacon? As in the medieval science whiz who practically predicted everything from submarines to, what, airplanes?
That's the one. Rudolph II figured if he could decode it, he'd have, like, a window into the future, medieval style.
So we'd be talking less secret code and more time traveler's diary then.
Right. Exciting thought, but unfortunately, radiocarbon dating kind of busted that theory.
Radiocarbon dating, so like science stepped in to fact check history?
Exactly. That process can pinpoint the age of stuff like, in this case, the vellum the manuscript's written on. Turns out it's way too recent to have been Bacon's work.
Okay, so no medieval time traveler. But still, this thing's stumped some serious brain power over the years. Emperors, alchemists, like you said, and even, get this, the NSA took a shot at it.
Yep. Even those guys, with their legendary code breakers, couldn't crack it. There's actually a declassified document about it. Apparently, William Friedman, a total big shot in the world of cryptography, led the charge.
So they brought out the big guns, huh?
They did. Early computers, the whole 9 yards. Cutting-edge tech for the time, but still. The Voynich Manuscript held its ground.
If the NSA couldn't crack it, then we are dealing with a seriously next-level puzzle here. So walk us through some of the top theories. What are the main contenders for how this Voynichese, is that what we're calling it, actually works?
Voynich, I like
Yeah.
it. Okay, so let's start with the classic decipher theory. That's the idea that the letters are just substitutions, like A equals C, B equals F, that kind of thing, based on some rule.
Right, like a simple code. Makes sense.
It does, but here's the thing. None of the usual ciphers from that time period quite match up with the Voynich manuscript style. Like the letter frequencies are all off, and it's oddly consistent for a cipher. Just doesn't quite fit.
So, strike one for the simple code idea. What about shorthand? Maybe it was just some medieval scientist's personal notes never meant for anyone else to see.
Possible. But even shorthand usually has more straightforward logic than this. It'd be incredibly complex for just jotting down notes, even for a brainy medieval dude.
Okay, so not a simple code, not shorthand. Could we be talking about steganography? Where the message is hidden within the text itself, like using the second letter of each word to spell something out?
Now, that is a fascinating thought. Hard to rule out completely, for sure. But again, the structure just isn't there. Steganography usually has patterns, and the Voynich manuscript just doesn't play by the rules. It feels like it wants to be read, though, like it's got a message to share, even if we're missing the instruction manual.
All right, so it's intentionally complex, but not in a way that matches any known code-breaking methods. Before we go deeper into the linguistic rabbit hole, what about the possibility that it really is a lost language?
Ah, now we're venturing into uncharted territory. Some linguists do propose it could be a genuine language, lost to time, maybe from a remote part of the world, never recorded, or even a made-up language from back then. Like, imagine a Proto-Esperanto from centuries ago.
A language lost to time, hidden within this book. Okay, now that's a captivating thought. But if that's the case, why go through the trouble of making a whole new alphabet? What were they trying to hide?
The million-ducat question, right? Were they safeguarding knowledge, keeping it out of the wrong hands? Or maybe they believed this new language had some kind of, mystical power. Hard to say. The Voynich manuscript keeps its secrets close. It really makes you want to dig deeper.
And speaking of things that make you want to dig deeper, We can't forget one of the Voynich manuscript's most, shall we say, intriguing features, the bathing ladies. There's this whole section full of drawings of women um, enjoying a nice soak, let's say. Was this medieval society's version of, like, a scandalous magazine or something?
Not quite. Our YouTube source actually delves into medieval bathing practices, and it turns out there might be a connection to early health practices. Back then, baths weren't just about being clean. They were seen as therapeutic. Different baths were believed to do everything from heal ailments to, well, boost fertility.
Okay, so less medieval scandal and more like medieval spa day. I'm starting to see the appeal. But do the pictures themselves back up this theory?
Surprisingly, they kind of do. We see similar things in real medieval bathing guides, showing off different types of baths and what they supposedly did for you. But the Voynich manuscript seems to go a bit further, with illustrations of some pretty unusual bathing methods. There are even what look like early showers, with pipes and tubes moving water around.
Like a medieval prototype for our modern showers. That's wild. Definitely adds a new layer to those bathing ladies.
Definitely. And when it comes to wild, well, there's one illustration in the Voynich manuscript that really takes the cake. The sunflower page.
Ah, yes, the infamous sunflower page. This is where things get really visually interesting, to say the least. Paint us a picture. What are we looking at here?
Okay, so picture a sunflower, right?
Yeah.
Then make it weirder. It's got these strange, almost creepy tendrils coming off it and these bulbous features. Super detailed, meticulously drawn. And of course, it's surrounded by that ever-present, impossible-to-read Voynich script.
So we've got ourselves a botanical riddle wrapped in a linguistic enigma. Sounds about right for this manuscript. Any leading theories on this particular page? Is it a real plant, symbolic, something else entirely?
It's a tough one. Some researchers think it could be a real plant, maybe one common back then that's now extinct. Others go the symbolic route, saying it represents some alchemical idea or astrological thingamajig. It's really up for debate.
So the mystery deepens. But wait, there's more to this sunflower page mystery, isn't there? This is where things take a turn for the truly unexpected, am I right? You got that right. We're about to add a whole new level of what the to this Voynich puzzle.
Yeah, this is where things get really interesting. There's this new theory, and it's causing quite a stir in the Voynich world, let me tell you. Basically, it says that the plants in the manuscript, even that sunflower we were talking about, they might not be from Europe at all.
Okay, now you've got my attention. Where are they from then? Mars.
Even wilder. This theory points to colonial Mexico.
Hold up, colonial Mexico. But this manuscript is from the 1400s. That's before Columbus, right? How does that even work?
That's the million-dollar question. This theory throws a real wrench in everything we thought we knew about the Voynich manuscript and where it came from. It all hinges on a few things. Some researchers think they've spotted plants and animals in the pictures that are only found in Mexico. Plus, there's this pigment, a really specific green color called atacamite. And it turns out that was used a lot in Mesoamerica, way back in the day, before Columbus.
So, are we saying there was some kind of, like, secret medieval transatlantic voyage going on that nobody knew about?
Well, hey, I'm not ruling out time travel. But the folks who back this Mexico theory, they have a slightly more down-to-earth explanation. They say, sure, the vellum itself is from the 1400s, but maybe, just maybe, it was used later by someone who'd been to the New World, or at least seen stuff brought back from there.
Okay, I see what they're saying. Still a lot of maybes, though, right? But let's just say, for the sake of argument, that this Mexico connection is legit. What does that mean for actually figuring out the language? Any potential translations coming out of this theory?
There are, get this, the researchers who like this theory, they're tossing around the idea that the language might be Nahuatl.
Nahuatl, as in the Aztec language.
You got it. We've gone from Roger Bacon to Aztecs in, what, 2 minutes?
Yes.
This deep dive is full of surprises.
Tell me about it. But we should probably mention this whole Mexico theory, it's not exactly universally accepted, right?
Right. Important to keep in mind, this one's a bit of a hot potato. Plenty of experts are saying, nah, not buying it. They point out that you can't be 100% sure about those plant IDs, and there's no smoking gun when it comes to the language, like no clear, aha, it is Nahuatl moment.
So where does that leave us? Back to square one? Are we just going to be wandering around this manuscript forever, lost in a sea of weird symbols and cryptic drawings?
Not necessarily. This Mexico thing, it definitely throws a wrench in the works, but it also kind of reminds us that we got to keep an open mind. This manuscript's been holding out on us for centuries, so chances are, when we do crack the case, it's going to be something totally unexpected, something that makes us rethink what we thought we knew about history, language, maybe even knowledge itself.
I do love a good paradigm shift. It's like we're trying to solve a giant puzzle box, and we just haven't found the right combination of clues and perspective to pop it open yet. But even if we never fully decipher the Voynich manuscript, it's been a wild ride just trying. We've gone from medieval manuscripts to code breaking to colonial Mexico, all thanks to this one mysterious book.
And let's not forget about those bathing ladies.
Oh, right. Definitely one of the more memorable parts of this deep dive. But seriously, the Voynich manuscript, it's a good reminder that there are still mysteries out there just waiting to be solved. It really shows how powerful the unknown can be. Makes you want to learn more, push the boundaries of what we think we understand.
It also shows how important it is to think outside the box.
Right.
We've got historians, linguists, botanists, even code breakers all trying to crack this thing. It's that kind of teamwork, that willingness to look at things from every angle that's going to help us make progress. Not just with the Voynich manuscript, but with any problem that really makes us think.
Couldn't have said it better myself. All right, so as we head into the final stretch of our Voynich manuscript deep dive, let's take a second to think about what we've learned today. What are some key takeaways you're hoping our listeners walk away with?
For me, it's that this mystery just won't quit. It's been around for centuries. People have been trying to decipher it like forever. And still, does the Voynich manuscript just keeps its secrets? It kind of makes you realize, we don't know everything. Some mysteries might just be too tough, no matter how hard we try. I think that's a really good point. We're so used to wanting answers, right? But sometimes it's really about the journey. Just asking the questions, trying new things, even hitting dead ends. That can be just as rewarding as finding a solution.
Totally. We may never know for sure what the Voynich manuscript is saying, and maybe that's okay. Maybe it's that struggle trying to understand it that makes it so valuable. It forces us to think outside the box, to push our brains to their limits.
Maybe it's a reminder that the unknown is powerful. It sparks our curiosity, makes us question everything. As long as we're willing to be curious, to be okay with not knowing all the answers, we'll keep learning and exploring.
Beautifully said. And hey, who knows? Maybe someone listening right now will be the one to finally crack the code. But until then, the Voynich manuscript remains this fascinating puzzle, this testament to the fact that some mysteries never die. So to everyone listening, what do you think about all this? What really stuck with you from our deep dive into the Voynich manuscript? We want to hear your theories.